Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Question number 58, addressed to the Cabinet Secretary, Roads and Transport, is on Kenya Airways. Specifically, Mr. Speaker, to what extent is the government's involvement in the operational matters of KQ, specifically regarding the protection and welfare of staff? Part B, could the Cabinet Secretary provide details of KQ staff that have lost their employment as a result of redundancies and retrenchment since 2010 and explain what necessitated the workforce reductions? Part C, was the procedure followed during the exercise lawful, and could the CS indicate whether all benefits due to the affected staff have or were paid? D, how many retrenchment cases by the organization have been found to be against the law? And could the Cabinet Secretary state the number of retrenched staff re-employed by KQ, if any, and what informed the decision? Lastly, Mr. Speaker, sir, what impact has court pronouncements through judgments had on job redundancies by KQ and retrenchment policy practices and the attendant send-off packages at KQ? I beg, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Thank you very much, Senator. Cabinet Secretary, because of time, I will use the standing orders to extend this sitting for a further 15 minutes so that you can conclude question number 58.
Thank you. So, Speaker, let me say that unfortunately, I may not be able to meet the expectations of the Senior Counsel and Honorable Senator, because the government of Kenya holds a significant stake in Kenya Airways, approximately 48.9% of the shares. It is represented on the board of Kenya Airways through the National Treasury and our Ministry of Transport. However, operational matters, including those related to protection and welfare of staff, are primarily the responsibility of the Kenya Airways itself. These operational issues are typically addressed and managed by the management and leadership of Kenya Airways. Kenya Airways is not really a parastatal per se, where we have proper access to all this information, Mr. Speaker, and I do not want to commit myself to answers that they would write to me, because then the interrogation would have to come to this ministry and would have to answer. The best way forward, we suggest from the ministry, is to invite Kenya Airways as Kenya Airways, so that they take responsibility as Kenya Airways, preferably, Mr. Speaker, to a committee, so that these issues can be dealt with comprehensively. I thank you.
Thank you, Cabinet Secretary. Senator Ojienda.
As the Minister has indicated, obviously his response is unsatisfactory. I will, Mr. Speaker, sir, in view of the response that the Minister circulated on the need to interrogate Kenya Airways, the question of shareholding arises the law. I note that government has 48% shareholding, but there is the other question of the public interest that also arises, and that creates an obligation. I will visit the Minister and share with him some precedents on this question. Even as I will then come back, I'll make sure he comes back to answer the question, because he cannot run away from the problem of Kenya Airways.
Thank you, Senator. Honorable Senator.